Shirt show. All right, let's go.
Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Talking shirt! Shirt show! Shirt, man!
All right! Episode 131 of Shirt Show. We're talking with Sterling from Old South Print Co. in Georgia. Let's go!
Hey there, honey boo boo.
Hey there, boo boo, honey. You know what was so funny about this is that I almost sent you a honey boo boo meme yesterday or the day before. You know when you were,
And you didn't?
no, I can't. You know, whatever. Something happened and I forgot. How's it going, man?
Cool.
How are you?
It's going. It's Friday afternoon.
Yeah, totally is.
Totally. Totes.
Totes. I don't know, this is like day 3 probably, where finally I'm in less pain.
Why? What'd you do?
Herniated disc.
Is that what they said your issue with your back was?
Yeah.
So what did they do for you?
I went to a chiropractor, and so I'll explain. I'll explain it like this. You know, if you have your 2 discs, and I was leaning forward, and it opened up the back part of like the vertebrae, between those vertebrae, and that disc herniated and, came out and pressed against my sciatic constantly, like 24/7. And like, I couldn't sleep. I slept last night, but the night before I didn't.
What did they do for you?
I am doing the reverse of that. So in other words, like, going back and
so you're just sitting like this all the time now?
Like right now. Okay. So this is no joke. Right now I'm sitting on a heating pad and I got this big lumbar pillow, behind me, forcing me the other direction.
Maybe that's what I need to do all the time. I just need to do this, and I'll put my computer screen up here. Like look at the ceiling all day.
Yeah, actually that would be good for you. That'd be good for your back, because we're so used to being like, especially sitting down and then hunched over, and then you're always opened up in the back for that disc to pop out. And
so they said it just goes back in by itself.
Yeah, and with time he adjusted me, like he cracked the shit out of my back.
Not my neck. Wonderful.
Not my neck. Like I don't.
Not
like
your back and your other thing in your crack.
Yeah, all that stuff.
Cool.
And we did some exercises, like it's called press ups. This is really specific stuff. I don't know, pretty boring, but I'm sure a lot of people have back issues. I mean, he said, so when I was there, he's like, you're not special. Like, don't think you're special.
Yeah.
This is like.
So you went to like a dominatrix kind of thing.
It was a little bit of that. Yeah. It's like a combo, like the first 15 minutes you work on your back, and then the next 15 on other stuff. But he was just like, look, I've got you. Like this is the number one reason why I see people right here. I'll fix it.
The funny thing is I think I've told this on here before, but like the tiny little Asian man was my chiropractor, and he could never crack me.
Oh yeah.
Not ever. Other than that, any new developments at work this week?
Yeah, but I'm saving one of them for a show and tell here later.
Okay.
I know the anticipation is going to...
Anticipation.
Yeah. That's another thing the chiropractor helps with, is my
slurred
inability to talk. He just cracks my jaw and open it up.
Right. More of that.
More of that. Yeah, I'm saving it because it's a biggie. Like this, I'm so proud of it. Just, anybody listening or watching right now, you're going to want to, this is the cliffhanger. You're going to want to.
Right. This is like, a clickbait.
Yeah. You need to, for sure, keep tuned. Keep tuning in, or fast forward.
Andy will reveal it at our 2 hours and 49 minutes.
Yeah. So just fast forward to 2:49.
Right.
Skip the rest. Skip the rest of this.
It's not worth it.
Goober talk. Was that something?
I feel like we've done a few of these in a row, like pretty quickly. Episodes recording.
I don't know how quick they are. I think it's just relative to how slow we were going at it. It feels quicker.
Well,
Maybe
didn't we
that's
already record one this week?
You don't know?
Monday?
It's like, did we? No, actually, it was on Tuesday. Yeah,
Oh,
so
Tuesday.
we did.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, see,
And now Friday.
Yeah, but things have happened. See, on Tuesday, so we recorded, and I was fine. On Tuesday, I went home, and that was when it hit, like super hard. But I'm better. There was a pain scale of 10, an unavoidable pain, because it's not like, oh, it's my foot and I just won't walk on it. Like, it was constant pain no matter what you did. Couldn't get comfortable. As a grown man at hour like 4 or 5 in the morning, after the pain was I was telling you this. Hang on.
Right,
as a grown man, after hour 5 of not being able to sleep, like 4 or 5 in the morning, and of excruciating pain, I cried a little bit.
Not surprised.
And I don't cry. The Rudmans don't cry from pain.
Yes, you do. You cry so often.
We never do.
That's bullshit.
It wasn't even a real cry. It was like
a whimper.
Yeah, just like not even full out.
That's way worse. I would rather just have a full on than a like.
I would too, because I think that's you feel better afterwards,
Right.
Like and I cry from emotions, like at movies, you know what I mean? Like,
I know.
all the time.
Yeah.
But pain doesn't really. Why cry? So anyway, I did sort of.
Okay.
So you were saying you were gonna say something?
No, that's all right. We don't need to go too deep into this. I'll call you later about your personal issues.
Please don't. I'll call you about your personal issues too. We're gonna have to schedule like at least 3 hours or something.
Right?
Yeah,
it's a full day's work.
Got to charge my fucking phone and shit. So
leave it plugged in.
All right.
Oh,
are we recording? Are we? Check. Shit.
Yeah, I think we are recording. I hope so. Anyway, so if we're not, then fuck this. I'm done for the day.
I can't hear you. What?
I said fuck you.
No, still can't.
Shit. Let me try again.
What'd you say? You said, "Low, hey, what's up, bud?"
I still got a little bit of your mom on my mustache.
That was just you know what that sounded like? It sounded like this.
All right.
So a lot of hot air. Hey. So guess what I did right before we signed on? I went to shirtshowofficial.com. I went to our merch store because I was really stoked to see my mom does my digitizing t-shirt, and it wasn't there.
Well, it will be soon, maybe.
Do you need help? You need me to help you with it?
I got it.
Jojo wants one.
That's a lie.
He just said you're lying. Oof.
Will she model it for us?
She said, never mind. She's going to design her own.
That'd be better.
We blew it. We would have made some money off her, but dang it.
I'll just send her one.
What else we got? So what are you doing up there? What have you been doing for a few days? Playing do you have some, what's it called? What do you play? Zombies? Zombie tournament?
Zombie tournament.
Cool.
Yeah.
Getting some stuff done.
I have been playing a lot of zombies though. No, work-wise it's been weird. We've been trying to hire. We have, we've been having people in for interviews. Very first one that we had scheduled, no show. So that's cool.
The no show for the interview. That's a good move. I like that.
And then the best part about it is that they had sent me, like I did the whole thing, like the sending a resume, like all this other stuff. And then I said, asked them what time was good for them. We figured out Thursday at 9 a.m. They were like, okay, cool. And then the night before they texted me, sent me a message on the thing and said, what's your address? I was like, is that not what you would look up first thing when you applied somewhere? Is like what your address is?
100,000% Google that shit.
Right. Yeah, so just Google that shit. And then they just didn't show the next day. So apparently the address they're just not from here at all. So.
And they don't have Google.
Yeah. So whatever, they didn't show up. And then the next one came in and she was pretty sweet. And then we got one more here at noon, and I will be recording with you instead. So,
Well, you could bring her in, put her on the casting couch, and just turn the camera like.
you got to pay extra for that. That's on my OnlyFans.
Who has to pay extra? The interviewee?
Subscribers.
How much? Like $1 or $2?
Yeah.
What are we talking?
Like a $1.50.
Okay.
$3.50.
I'm not paying that. So like this week, we've been working on some Kanban stuff, like dialing it in. We're getting really, really close to something awesome. And ordering supplies. And like this Kanban thing, maybe we could talk about this later because there's some things that are complicated about it. Yeah, maybe we save it for later.
Yeah, let's do another. Let's just keep teasing people of all the things we're not going to talk about later.
Because we get sidetracked and forget. And then also, I've just been ordering supplies, for like year end or stocking up, and year end stuff.
I've been doing the same.
It's smart, get some stuff in before the holidays, and also it's been warm enough here to. We don't have to worry about freezing. You know what, Alex? You know what Easy Way told me is that you can ship like 701 and you don't have to worry about freezing. The only thing you do have to worry about is reclaim. So like the Supra
or whatever ones you use.
Yeah. So like we use the 500 and you have to worry about that freezing. So we got some on the way. It's in the 50s or something here, so not too bad.
Yeah, that's mostly why I'm stocking up. It's just because of winter and cold and all that shit. So, but no, things have been good here. Things have been really nice. Like I said, we implemented Bill into the shop manager role, and doing the interview stuff is trying to get all that dialed in. And we had never really written down like a ton of interview questions, and we kind of went through and did that. So I feel like the last 2 weeks we've done a lot of like grown up business things. It's weird. Did
you ask like one of your questions? Is it like a honesty question? Like if you run out of toilet paper at home, would you take some from the shop to use, that type of stuff?
We did have a lot of questions in there that we were like, is this legal for us to ask?
Right.
We're just like, do you have thick skin, and are you willing to like basically be harassed all day long?
I don't see any problem with that. That's fine.
I mean, that's very important here, so that's why I wondered.
I mean, on The Office, they talk about impotence. There's a whole episode. They just, so I mean, that's normal stuff,
right?
If you act like The Office, the TV show,
Right. Did you watch any good movies this week with JoJo?
No movies at all. She had a commission piece to finish up, actually to start and finish. And I sort of helped her with that. I didn't paint anything, but
were you the model?
That would have been great, but no.
Because Kevin, I sent in a commission to see if she could just do a nude painting of you for my office.
And she's already has like 100.
She just hasn't gotten to it yet.
No, she already has like a lot in inventory
because it never sells.
I knew once I just said that, I was like, God, I hope he doesn't like I set him up so good. I hope he just lets that one slip by.
Nope.
But Chad, edit that part out, please. Thank you, to make me look funny and not him. But no, she just has that because it's really popular. And she has to keep a big inventory because like she sells 100 a day. So she has to have always 100. It's a Kanban thing. It's a Kanban thing.
I'm going to let you have this one.
Thank you. It all starts with a screen, and whether it's new stretches or restretches, Frank and his team do it the best. To find out more, go to graphicscreenfashion.com, FFFFF,
rank.com,
or
greatfuckingscreens.com.
Cleaning screens is no fun, but Easy Way makes it funner. Their line of eco-friendly chemicals will help you keep your screens and your shop clean. Check them out at easyway.com. Easy Way.
It's the easiest way.
For sure. What were you smiling
Definitely.
at? You were smiling. Yeah, you looked down and you saw something, a text or a meme.
It was text.
What'd it say? Share it with us.
It
Share it
didn't
with the class.
say anything. It was a video from Chris out in the shop doing something funny.
Let's see it.
It's inappropriate.
Action Engineering makes all kinds of accessories printers need.
Definitely.
Go check them out at actionengineering.com and level up your shop. Guess what? So I did this yesterday. No, 2 days ago. And I ordered something. What do you think it was? What do you think I ordered?
Squeegee rubber, pre-cut, rounded corners.
How'd you know?
Because that's what you order.
It wasn't very fun. I thought you would.
It's like your most common order.
Do you have some sort of, what do they call that?
Live stream in your shop?
Maybe that, but no, like what's it called when, Joanne, what's it called when you're psychic? Oh, I think it's called a psychic.
Psychic? You fucking
No.
idiot.
A medium or something like that.
Yeah, I put like pink crystals on my forehead when Mercury's in retrograde or whatever, and then I can think of all the things that you're thinking.
Yeah, fuck off. All right.
Oh.
So you're right. I did. I guess. Okay. So how many do you think I ordered? You won't know.
26.
Why would I ever order? No.
I don't know. I just pulled a number out of my ass.
Okay. Well, so you're apparently not a psychic, but because I ordered 40. And do you know why? Do you know why it's an even number of divisible by 10?
No.
Because they sell them in 10 packs. Squeegee rubber. Discounted, which is tight.
Mhm.
Okay. And so I ordered, and also we wanted to replace all of our squeegees at the same time. The only ones we replace more often are the white ones.
Yeah, white gets replaced way more often. But do you go through and check them though? Or do you ever rotate them?
No. What do you mean rotate?
Rotate them.
You mean flip them up in the other direction of the squeegee holder?
Yeah.
No, you didn't mean that. You didn't mean that. I saw by your face. No, I saw by your face. Your eyebrows went up, and that told me that.
Because generally we load the squeegee the same way every time. You know what I mean? Like, you know, on the M&R, the notches are off to the side.
Huh?
The notches on the squeegee holder are off to the side. So when you load it in, you kind of load it one way, the same way every time, roughly. So we could take the blade and flip the blade around so that it's sharp on the other side. And then we run them again.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
I thought you meant like take the squeegee out of the clamp and then
flip it.
Yeah, and then put it back up in there.
You could.
Okay, yeah, sure. I know you could. We do. Okay. Do you need help outputting SEPs or keeping up with artwork? Then you are going to want to go to 1-900hotstuff.com and get in touch with Nick or Lucas.
Nick or Lucas.
And put your design department on cruise control.
Mm-hmm.
How do you like that?
I like it. I love it. I want some more of it. Nick tries so hard.
I haven't talked to him in a while.
He's a good man. Yeah. We have, over the period of time that we've tried, I mean, we were telling people to go to Graphic Source way before they wanted to be a sponsor of the show.
True.
Just because of how usable it is and helpful. But there's been a lot of people that have reached out that said that they signed up for Graphic Source and it's been awesome for them. That it really, really helps their shop. So we're happy to tell people about it because it really does help.
You want to know another way to get a hold of Nick, I think, and Lucas, but pretty sure they're both in our Discord.
Yeah.
You can go message them. Choosing the right emulsion for your shop is complicated, and that's why we love Chromaline. Check out our bud Kevin, who is the emulsion guru, on Instagram, or go to chromaline.com to watch his videos and learn all about the screen room. Okay?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Chromaline was here yesterday, and he dropped off the very first toy for the toy drive.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Candyland.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Did you open it and play it immediately?
Yeah, I just said this is for me.
I would have done the same thing. You know what?
I thought that was sweet.
That is sweet, you know?
Yeah. Thanks, guys.
Today, we're chatting with Sterling Maynard of Old South Print Co. in
Georgia.
Georgia. Where? Do you know what city?
No.
I don't either. I feel like it's on the coast, though.
Doesn't matter. It's just Georgia.
It's kind of a big state.
Yeah.
You know? Well, stretch it and we go. We go. Very important. Let's get a couple good deep breaths.
I don't want to have to stretch every day. So stupid. Sterling.
It's hard to time this when there's a delay, right? We can't get this right.
Sterling. What's up, dude?
Just doing the damn thing as usual.
Yeah, it sounds wonderful. You look really excited about working today.
Yeah, well, having a newborn baby kind of sucks the life out of you for a few months.
No way.
But yeah, I mean, it's Friday, so I'm happy.
Yeah.
We got a nice, easy day ahead of us.
Is the baby sleeping or not sleeping?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, sleeping good for the most part. Just kind of been sick on and off with a little bit of a cold, so kind of throws a wrench into the regular schedule.
Yeah. Both my kids were wonderful where they just slept. Like they slept 12 hours, like hands down.
Wow.
It was like put them to bed at 7, they wake up at 7.
Like father, like daughter and son. Just 12 hours a day, right?
Oh, man, that'd be nice.
But other than that, how's work right now? How's the shop?
It's good. I mean, we had a little bit of a slowdown there. I'd say October and November were pretty slow. I don't know if it's just kind of customers and marketing teams kind of pulling back on spending, before the end of the year, or just kind of a little wishy-washy on the funds, like not sure if they want to blow the money on this or that or the other. But it's picked up pretty good here, oddly enough, right here at the end of the year. So we should be able to finish out pretty strong.
Yeah, I got asked the other day, there was a friend that called me and was asking me about, are you busy or whatever? And I'm just like, dude, I don't fucking even know what to say anymore. Like this year is so weird.
It's up and down and all over the place.
Right. It's like normally you'd be like, oh, from whatever, this month to this month, we're like slam nonstop. But it's like, it's been like, yeah, we're busy as fuck for a week. And then we're slow for a week and a half. And then we're busy as fuck for like 3 weeks. And then it's like, it's just so many weird ups and downs. Like I got a question. Just don't know how to make of it.
Check this out. Okay. Do you think I got option 1, option 2? Okay. We have 3 presses here and we normally run 3-person teams. So press operator, press assistant, quality control, right? Do you think we would be faster that way? So 3 people per press, 3 presses, or 2 presses and have 4 people per press. So think of it like this. We have the same team, right? Press operator, press assistant, quality control, but we have changed it up right now to try something. We're testing out our a couple of different roles.
Is that 4th person just doing teardowns and setups?
So there's a 4th person that's supporting both presses. So we got the 2 Cobras together on a dryer, okay? And we have that 4th person supporting both of those presses. Whatever you need, ink. What do you need? Screens, a different screen taped up. We're problem solving, whatever. And then we have an additional quality control person that's, helping get shirts back into the boxes or helping shirts get carted up and, staged for the press. Like we're never waiting on anything. Do you think you're faster 2 presses with 8 people instead of 6, or 3 presses with, actually, I guess it would be 9 people. So we're basically just, because, we shut down one of the presses and we're just focusing on just everybody on.
I guess it's a twofold question and answer though. Do you mean faster as in more jobs getting out in a day, or faster as in
question.
like faster? Because you would be faster per press per jobs with more people, obviously.
Yeah.
But like, are you talking about like end result at the end of the day? Like, okay, instead of doing 40 jobs today, we did 48 jobs.
Yeah, I'm not talking about total impressions. So we're not measuring. We do measure that, but I haven't compared that yet. I'm talking about since Monday, we huddled up and decided to run like this. Like we're going to test out this new role for a person that's sort of like, not only is this person supporting both of those presses by getting them ink and all this sort of stuff, he's also a cheerleader to the presses, like.
So as it's spinning, he's like, yeah, you guys are great.
Exactly. He's got some pom-poms, doing some dances.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's very supportive, honestly, mentally, because it's
so distracting.
I think that you want to hear supportive acknowledgement of, hey, this is going great, and so he's that type of person, like, and also sort of there's one press operator that's been running a press for maybe 5 months or 6 months, and he's pretty good, but 20% of the stuff that comes through, he still is, not, I don't want to say struggling, but it's sort of more of a challenge to him than it is to others. And so we're able to really watch over that and accelerate sort of that learning, if you would. So I don't know. It's really cool. We love it right now. And I know that we have to turn on this third press at some point. We don't have enough people. So we're going to have to hire in the spring. We don't have enough people to do it this way. You know what I'm saying? And then we'll even be faster. Can you imagine, like, if we have that,
press for all of them?
Yeah. And so,
you'd be moving and shaking on that.
I know. I love it. And we discovered a lot this week. We're going to meet this afternoon, and we're going to talk about it.
I think it's always great to have that, like, especially when you're busy, to have, people dedicated to their position. Like, the loader is just loading and the offloader, and then you've got someone doing teardowns and setups, or running around doing ink or mixing more or getting stuff ready. I feel like you would fly, but I don't know. Like I said, the question is just like, are you getting more jobs out the door at the end of the day, or is it just making things faster and more efficient per press? So I think it's cool. Like I would love to see that here, but like, I think in my shop, there's so many fluctuations and seasons and stuff that, like, I would be terrified to just have extra people when we don't need to fly all day long.
Yeah. That's kind of how it is with me. Like we used to have more people, but now, I mean, I'm running a crew of 5 plus me, and I'm usually the one, out there being that support person, just kind of, gluing when I need to, adding ink, mixing up Pantones, setting up the other press. So as soon as they're done on one press, they can hop over to another one. Shirts are already stacked and staged, and, work orders are ready to go. I mean, for a shop, if you've got like the steady workflow for something to where you can afford, to have that kind of 4-person team going, I think that's great. Cause I mean, that just means everybody can kind of focus on what their one job is. Like if they have just like one specific role. But yeah, I mean, if it's, I think it's
really interesting because, if there are shops out there that have 2 presses and they're maxed out, right? They're running overtime and all these kind of things. And I think that you have to be creative with production, and I'm sure that some of them have. But like your first go-to is we're going to run overtime, we're going to run over lunch, we're going to run on Saturdays and all this kind of stuff. But what if you explored just having more people so that your setup and teardowns and everything else is just always like pedal to the metal, you know what I mean? Without like overtaxing other people, because Kyle used to do a little bit of what this other person is doing now, but Kyle also does too many other things. He's stretched too thin. And so he's in the screen room, he's coding screens, or he's exposing screens, or he's developing screens, or he's taping screens, or he's, what I'm saying? And so how can he be out at the presses also? And so just to have a dedicated person and also a dedicated quality control manager, let's say, that's also helping manage the quality control. Man, we are flying. And the answer is that I don't have all the data. It's not all in, but the answer is we are putting out equal amount of work. That's my hypothesis.
On 2 presses. versus
we are
3.
putting out, yes, which sounds silly, but there is just not much time wasted. And so, another press is expensive.
I was going to say, well,
dryer.
that kind of makes sense if you're trying to debate, do I need another press or do I just leave this one here idle until it's like really busy? Like you said, rather than wasting the energy on 3 autos, wasting the air, wasting, like I said, all the electric and all this other stuff, why not just run 2 more efficiently than running 3? It's saving you money and it's saving maintenance and everything else on that press and like a separate dryer and all this other stuff. So like that's a debate that I've had here with Bill a couple of times is like, okay, we've got 3 presses and 2 dryers. He might hop off of one of the other presses and run the 3rd press and dryer. But it's like, is it better for us and more cost effective to you to just run the other press with somebody rather than one person on that press, one person on this press? Because then you're running another press and a dryer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you might be able to get the same amount of stuff done if you guys were both just running the other press and I didn't have to run a separate dryer and everything, especially when the other dryer is electric.
Oh yeah. That'll pull. That electricity's gotten pretty expensive here lately. So
yeah. So I guess that's the debate is, like you said, if you're a shop that has 2 autos and you're debating getting a 3rd, maybe it's better to just get another person on that press to make those jobs even faster than to get another auto.
Or at least try that first, because there's no doubt you're going to be more efficient and be able to get more jobs out the door. It's just how much can you get a whole press's worth? I think that's the question. Yeah.
Right.
And so that's what we're experimenting with now, because before we just couldn't even try that. We didn't want to risk it. We were too busy and we didn't want to say, oh, let's go try this, and maybe miss some deadlines or whatever. But here when you talked about it's kind of been coming in waves for you guys, it sort of reminded me that we're trying this right now and it slowed for us. Embroidery's backed up. In fact, we're not even taking any more orders for Christmas, but screen printing, we've got some availability or whatever you'd call it. We've got some production holes. And so if it has to be like me and Kyle or somebody else, we can go jump on this. We can fire up the press and, run it. But it's just kind of neat. And so we're trying it right now, and we're going to meet up this afternoon and talk about this week because we talked about some other things earlier in the week too, which I want to discuss. But we're going to meet up and say, like, how did it go? What are your thoughts? What are your feelings? Are your feelings good and positive about this? And then maybe, tweak some of what we're doing. So
I'm proud of you. Good job, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Sterling, when was the last time you hired somebody?
I guess it's been a while.
It's been a while. That's not a bad thing.
I mean, I think the last person we hired was probably like 15, 16 months ago, maybe.
Dang.
And we've actually let a couple people go since then. One of them being my right-hand man that was with me for years, kind of like started with me when I built my first shop and got the first rock that we had.
Was it for sour reasoning or did he go off
yeah, a little bit. He was getting burnt out. And his heart just really wasn't in it. And lots of mistakes over the course of 1 month that cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars for one of our biggest clients.
Yeah.
So that's not great, but he's a super smart kid, got a degree in biology. Like, I basically said, like, dude, you're not going to print shirts for forever. I mean, it's fun. Right. I know you're having fun. I'm having fun. But you can go do bigger and better things.
Aren't those breakups hard? Because
they are. Yeah, it sucks. I mean, he was like a little brother, and I mean, we worked together. I mean, he was with me for like 5 years, and through all the stages of growth. Once we got out of my parents' garage, like into the first new shop, like taught him everything. He was able to, train people and teach them. And so it's like, there's a lot of time and effort poured into him, and it sucks that, just kind of have to cut it off. But that's kind of what happens when you mix business and friendship and just, it sucks, but you gotta grow from it. And like, I learned a few things on, I guess, what I would do hiring going forward or training going forward, or
That's what I want to know. That's what I'm looking for right now.
yeah,
What are the things that you thought about that you want to do differently?
I would say
I'm in the process of trying to do some hiring right now. And me and Andy were talking before that I'm trying to think of newer, better questions to where maybe we can nip in the butt now things that we wouldn't normally find out till after they're hired and later. You know what I mean? Like quirks about them or things that they might have issues with or whatever. So what were the things that you were thinking about?
Well, I mean, I noticed for some of them, so the oldest one in the shop is technically my shirt catcher lady and like shipping receiver and like outgoing stuff. So she does a good job, but you know, she's not involved with production or anything. Like she'll go back and clean screens off if we need her to, and like help pick out ink colors and whatnot. But the oldest one outside of that's actually my little brother. And he's 27. So, and then under that, there's another 27, 20-year-old and like a 25-year-old. So we're a pretty young crew. And and what I've found with them is like just kind of get them to like buy in and just sort of be proud, like have some attachment to the work that they're doing.
Right.
Like kind of gives them some, or you say like, they're just like, they're excited to come in and do it and like put in the effort for it.
Yeah. And it's funny because that's like something we were talking about yesterday because we had done some interviews and one of the people that we interviewed was a little like older, like definitely older than me.
Easy.
Okay. Super old and decrepit, like, you know, whatever.
Got the AARP card already?
Yeah. AARP card. No, not that old, but like I said, there's no good way to say this, but like you kind of want to hire someone who doesn't have any other ambitions. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like, do you want to work here? And then you find out that they're like, yeah, but I also want to be like a dentist. And it's like, well, yeah, you're not going to fucking work here that long then. Like by the time we teach you a skill, you know, a year in or whatever, and where we feel comfortable you doing what you got to do, you're going to be like, well, it's time for me to go to do this next thing. So like that was the discussion about this lady who came in yesterday. And it's like, she's done another job before. She had like a career already. And she's like, you know, she's like, oh, I'm just looking for like steady work. And I have great customer service experience. And I have like computer knowledge and all this other stuff. And it's like, this lady's just going to fucking work the front desk and do her job. And like, she's going to be here till she doesn't want to work anymore. And it's like, that to me is like awesome.
I don't know.
Yeah, if I could staff my entire shop with people kind of like that, well, maybe except the production crew, because being young and spry, you know.
No, that's nice for that. But I'm saying for the role that we're trying to fill, I'm like, that's great. You know, like personable person at the front desk and answering emails and answering the phone and all this other stuff. I was like, this lady might be great for this job because of whatever. Yeah, it's nice to have the spry people out there, but it's also that thing of like, is this their first job? Have they not done the whole, like, I've tried a couple things. This is where I want to be. You know what I mean? I feel like we run into that a lot with like younger people where it's like, they just have in the back of their mind still like, oh, I might want to get another job here or here or here because they haven't tested the waters yet.
You should have that on your job posting. Then it should say like the first bullet point should be something like, we're looking for a person with no aspirations.
Right. That's what I mean. Like, do you just want to like leave here, drink beer and like watch TV? Or do you want to like do something else?
I think that I never hire somebody with the idea that they're going to be here for more than 3 years in my head, because I know that what our average, you know, churn rate is about approximately. And in fact, I would say that I would be with most roles, except for maybe press operator, which I never hire anybody that's already a press operator to be a press operator. They usually move through the system. And so I would say that most of the time I'm just looking for a year, you know, like because
dude, that
usually
gives me the skeeves so hard.
No. Okay, hear me out. So you hire somebody for quality control, and you're hoping that they commit through your season. You know what I mean? Like right about now, if they wanted to leave, that's fine. You know, because we're going to slow down. We don't really need you as much. And so you hire somebody like that in the spring, let's say, or whatever, and they prove themselves. It's like in 6 months, even if you're looking to hire somebody that you think, man, I want them to work here for, till they die, like retire here.
I want them to die on the floor.
Then that doesn't mean that they're going to stay. And that doesn't even mean that you might change your mind. Like you may say, man, this person's perfect. They have no aspirations. They need money. They just had a baby. Oh my God, they're going to be here forever trying to, to make money. So they're not going to call out, very often. And for whatever reason you think they're perfect, you may change your mind in 60, 90 days or whatever. I mean, man, I hope they're gone. And so that's why when I think we were talking to, was it Pete maybe? And I was like, hire fast, fire faster, promote fastest, because you just can't ask the right question really during your interview that's going to tell you that this person's going to work out. And so just get them in there, hire them, see how they are after 30 or 60 days or whatever. And if they suck, then say, see ya. If they're awesome, then promote them. And so I wouldn't say, and then give them a reason to stick around, so like you already are doing, give them paid time off, give them paid holidays, give them health insurance, give them Red Baron pizza, unlimited.
So much Red Barons.
Have somebody, that's another
corn
thing.
Dogs and Red Barons. There's more than enough reason to stay here.
There you go.
I just think there's certain things that like we're trying to think of. Like I said, like questions like that are just more like whatever, but it's also things on our end too of like Sarah said, like, oh, I really want to do like kind of like one-on-ones, but in their first year, like, okay, we want to do a 30-day, a 90-day, and then whatever, like review with them. Like, how are you feeling? Or do you feel like you're being trained well enough? Do you have a lot of questions that you just don't feel comfortable asking? And like all this other stuff so that we can make sure like we're more on top of it, not just like, here's your shit to do. Like, if you don't get it done, you're a fucking loser. It's like, well, it's probably more on our fault that like we didn't tell them or like give them the opportunity to be better. So that's what I said earlier when I was talking to you. Like, I'm trying to like do more grown up shit where I'm like, yeah, this, like, I should maybe be more of a boss than just a dude who made this company that works here.
You're maturing.
Like, hires people here and there.
Yeah, you're maturing as a company.
That's kind of where I feel like, I mean, it went from kind of being like a business where like we just hung out and had a lot of fun and drank beer while we printed t-shirts. Mm. And so it's kind of like a side gig, but it was a really successful side gig. And now like that we're in the new shop, more equipment, more responsibilities and whatnot. And I'm getting older and, having to be a dad. It's like, damn, like I've got to actually be a boss now. Like I can't just be big brother. I can't just be a friend. Like when I leave work, like I want to be able to leave work and like leave it there. That way quality time is spent with everyone else. So, I mean, that's been very interesting for me on my end. It's just like actually having to become a boss and like learn how to be a boss and not just a friend. Cause I mean, growing pains and getting mad and snapping a clipboard in half and whatnot over silly mistakes that they should have caught, but I should have set the expectations a little bit differently or, gave them more clear instructions. And
being a boss is zero fun pretty much. Oh, and being a friend is way more funner. And I know that transition from like you just talked about, we did the same thing long ago, years and years ago, where it was, hey, this is fun and we're drinking beers even like at 5 o'clock because we're going to stay late and all that kind of stuff. And then it changes and then you can't do that anymore. In fact, you have to be very, very cautious because you could be sued or whatever, and so it's like it turns into a completely different vibe unless you can be really, really creative like Dylan is and somehow still make that work, So
well, the thing is like I said recently, I say we, but it's me. Like I'm trying to juggle both. Like I'm still trying to have the vibe that we've always kept here, and I feel like that's fully intact. Like we still do all the fun shit that we do, but it's also like, guys, it's fun, but also like we need to set some ground rules. We need to before it was just like, okay, yeah, you each have your job to do, let's do it. But there was all these little holes of like, people would get done with their jobs on their schedule and they would just like go home. rather than like ask a manager, like, hey, do you have more stuff I could do? Or like, do you need help in another position? Whatever. It was like, they'd be like, oh, my side's done. And they would just like go home. And it's like, okay, there's stuff like that we need to like work on. So that was the whole like getting the production manager thing in. And now we're trying to like get everyone used to how that works and setting some ground rules. And this was another thing I wanted to ask you guys that me and Bill kind of talked about. And I think it's the best way to scold somebody or whatever. So like if someone comes in with drama or they're not listening or they're just blatantly being a dick or doing something they're not supposed to do, he was like, how do you want me to handle this? Like, what do you want me to do? Like, are we doing write-ups? Are we doing, what the fuck are we doing? And I was like, I think the best thing is to make note of it when it happens, but just send them home.
Mm-hmm.
Just
I've
be
had to
like,
do that a couple times.
just be like, hey, you're not doing what you're supposed to do, or you're having issues today. Go home. Because to me, it's like that's the biggest kick in the dick for them, is because then they just don't get paid for the day. You know what I mean? Like they might be here till 10 a.m. and then they're being an asshole, and it's like, all right, go home. And then they just have less pay that week. And then obviously that hurts their wallet. And then the hope is that they just don't do that anymore, or they calm their shit down. But if it's like we have to talk to them and send them home like every week, then that's like, let's have a conversation, and like maybe you just don't work here anymore because this can't keep happening. So what do you guys do to like, I mean, I don't think it's rare. I feel like that's going to happen, but like, what would you do if you have to yell at somebody? Do you, Andy, I feel like you have a system, or you probably write somebody up.
Yeah. Sterling, you want to go first? Because might take a while.
Yeah. I mean, again, with it being kind of a small crew with us and one of them being family, it can be easy, but it can also get a little heated sometimes. But for like, if people just have a piss poor attitude for the day, I'll, just kind of talk to them and say, hey, what's going on? Like, anything I can do to help? Like, kind of, it's being detrimental to production or to, everybody else around here. And those, and if they're like, oh yeah, sorry, I just don't feel good, I'm having a bad day. It's like, okay, cool. Well, I notice, you notice, squash it and be done with it. But then if there's people that are just coming in and it's an every week thing that they're just spoiling the entire environment, like definitely get rid of them. But as far as yelling, like I think I've yelled 2 or 3 times over the course of all the years. Cause I try not to, but if they've screwed something up or something, like the biggest punishment for them, from what I can tell, is just like me being upset with them or like disappointed in them, and they can immediately tell. And so they eventually they'll come in with with a tail between their legs, like a whipped little puppy, and apologize. And
you're saying
that's my bad.
You're saying that's more effective than yelling. It's just you being disappointed. Yeah.
Oh, it's the dad thing. It's I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. That's way fucking worse.
It is.
I would much rather get beat than be like just that look of like, I wish you weren't my son, and then like turn around and walk away. It's like, oh, I think that if you come in hot and you're yelling, they hear the yelling. They don't hear the problem. And then they become a little bit on the defensive, or maybe even you're throwing fuel on the fire, and you just make it worse. And, instead of de-escalating the whole situation and using a goof as an opportunity to learn or to, maybe prevent it next time, all of a sudden you're an asshole, because you came and yelled at me, you solved nothing,
Yep.
you actually are, because as a leader, there's only one way to lead. It's not, leading by example isn't the best way. It's the only way. I almost messed that quote up, but it is, because if you come in and you're yelling and you're like, pissed off and asshole, well, then that's how we are going to respond when something else goes on. Like a manager here is like, oh, well, Andy fucking yells all the time, I'm going to yell.
I feel like this conversation is just going to get really deep, because we're going to get into our childhood feelings.
We could if you want to.
I just don't know how you break that cycle.
So what we do is we take off our belt, and then
just get whipped.
Oh, yeah. You hear the belt buckle undo and the zip of it coming through the loops.
You're like, uh-oh.
Oh, yep. I know that sound. All too familiar.
The PTSD.
It was worse. That sounds worse than the actual whoop itself. You know, you're like,
Oh yeah.
All you need to do is that crack of the belt where you fold it in half and do the snap thing.
mm,
You're just like, nope, I'm done. Whatever you need me to do, I'm doing.
right.
Well, I guess it's kind of a twofold question before, Andy, you get to your rant on your how you do it. But the other thing is too that's tricky is how do you not scold, because it's not usually a on purpose thing. But what about just like fuck ups? Like on press or jobs or whatever, and it continues to be a thing where it's like, oh, you messed up this job, or you messed up this job, or your pallets weren't sticky enough, or whatever. It's like, what do you do when you get to the point where you notice a pattern with a person? I know you obviously should just like retrain them on the thing, but like, what if it persists? Is it a write up again, or is it a bring them in your office and beat them with a belt? What do you do?
They usually get pulled to the side and get told to get their shit together. And, you know, I'm like, look, this keeps happening, or you've done it twice this week already. Like, is there something going on? Like, do I need to show you what else to do? Like, I've trained you to do this. Like, you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So, like, what's the issue? And usually it comes down to they've been trained fine. They're just maybe a little airheaded for the day, or just not paying
their heads not
as much
in
attention. Yeah, or they're too busy, you know, listening to the music or whatever, like whatever podcast they've got in their ear, or thinking about their girlfriend or whatever it may be.
Okay, Andy, hit us.
I think Sterling's right. I think that I think if it's a pattern. So here's how we do it. Here's the formal way I do it. So if somebody goofs, that's a chance just to say, it's an opportunity to say, why did this happen?
To say you're fired.
And is it no? And to say, is it our process? Is something in the process wrong? Is it training? What is it? Are you having a bad day? Just like you said. And that's just a chat. That's not anything that's a really problematic. If it happens again soon, the same sort of thing, well, then there's a verbal warning. Like you just said, you chat with them. I don't pull them aside in front of everyone, but we could maybe talk in here and say, hey, what's going on? Like, is everything okay? Because maybe it's something outside of work. And if it becomes like they're being negligent, let's say, and it's just constant, and you need to actually write them up and say, look, if you're going to go on probation, you have 30 days to improve. And if you don't, it may result in termination. And I put some of that work on us too, because if you're doing something wrong, well, then that's something we're doing wrong too, in my opinion, unless it is pure negligence, like they're coming in on cocaine every day or something, or whatever it is, then maybe that obviously isn't. That's misconduct.
You got a hell of a fucking crew there.
For a whole nother reason.
That's how you guys are getting so much shit done on two presses.
That's
everybody's on speed all day.
But you know what I mean? Like if it's, we're going to write you up and give you 30 days, and part of it's on us, and we're going to spell out a plan. Like, okay, we're not just going to say, hey, get your shit together. You got 30 days, you're out. We're going to say, you're going to have to get your shit together. And here's 1, 2, 3, how you're going to do it. Oh, you keep doing this. Well, then here's how you don't do that. And here's the steps we're going to take. And we're going to check in a couple of times before the 30 days are out. And usually it corrects. And if it doesn't, well, then you've documented it properly, because you don't want to, you can get in a lot of trouble for wrongful termination. Right. And so I want to document this. I want to document it. Why are you smiling, Dylan? Is there something going on?
Well, did I on the show talk about why we just had to fire that person?
Probably.
I can't remember. We've done a couple shows in a row, and I can't remember. I don't remember. So anyway, it was just like, well, it's like kind of like, no, I can say I'll talk.
Don't implicate yourself here,
because I'm in the right on this thing. I don't care.
I think I know who you're talking about.
The girl at the front desk, the one that we're trying to rehire for right now.
Yeah.
I can't remember if I told the story or not. I think it was too fresh, and I didn't want to say anything about it, so it was done. But it was just kind of like, I'm trying to shorten this up. So basically, she was kind of a graphic artist a little bit, and she was hired to do customer service, front desk, whatever. So when she was first hired, there wasn't a ton of stuff to do because she didn't have her own clients. She was just doing phone calls and emails that I forwarded her and stuff that came in. And there were some jobs to do for artwork. And I was like, hey, like, instead of me sending this to one of our freelancers, why don't I just have you work on it? Because like, you're pretty good at this kind of stuff. And then she was like, okay, cool. Well, she did some. And then like a week or two or something went by, and she was like, we had a conversation where I was like, hey, when I used to work at the shop in Georgia, I made money on the side, like at home, to like help pay for groceries and rent and all this stuff by doing freelance artwork too. Like I was kind of in the same boat. So if you want to, instead of doing the work at work, like you could do it at home, and then you could charge the customer whatever you want to charge them for artwork. And then when it's done, bring it back to us and we'll print it like normal. And she was like, okay, yeah. Well, apparently that never happened. She just kept doing stuff at work. Well, she ended up sending me an invoice basically and was like, hey, this is all the artwork I've done. And it was all like the normal fees we would charge a customer. And she was at work doing them. And she wanted me to pay for her to do the artwork at work.
What the hell?
And I was like, dude, I was like, that's not how this works. I was like, you were getting paid your normal hourly rate at work to do these. I told you straight up, like, if you want to make the money yourself, do it out. Like, I'm trying to do you a favor, like do it after work. So I like nicely typed that up in an email, and I was just like, hey, I think you're like misunderstanding the situation, blah, blah, blah. So instead of responding to that email or calling me or, you know, coming in and talk to me, that I'd sent that email at night. It was like one of those where I did it on my laptop, and the next day I didn't even think about it. Like, it literally wasn't on my radar. It wasn't a big deal because of how like small it was. Well, she told Sarah, like, oh, I need to go home, like on a mental health day or whatever. Like, I'm not feeling so great. And I was like, okay, like whatever, that's fine. And then come to find out, when she went home, she just like started bashing me on the internet, like going on her social medias and being like, you know, this is what my boss said, like, fuck this, and like, fuck this place, and like all this other stuff. And it was funny, like, I didn't catch wind of it till later in the day, but like, I sent that email and then I got thinking about it while I had to go make some deliveries. I was like, you know what? Like, and it was kind of like me and Andy on the show, like where he says something and I'm like, you know what? You're right. Like, I should probably do it this way. And like, I thought to myself, I'm like, you know what? Like, it was actually my fault that she thought it was this way, not her, because I didn't have anything written down.
You called Dad.
Yeah. Well, I'm just saying, it was like, I didn't have anything.
You've left the part out where you called Dad and put me on speakerphone.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did call you, and I forgot about that. I did call you for real. So I called Andy and I said, what would you do in this situation? No, this was after the fact. I called you before we fired her.
Right.
But during the drive earlier in the day, I thought to myself, I was like, you know what? I didn't do it this way. Whatever. This is probably what I should do. And then when I got back, I actually, 2 different people from the shop came in and talked to me at the same time, which was funny. I was like, hey, I don't know if you're seeing this, but like on Snapchat, on whatever, TikTok or whatever it was, Facebook, like she's saying all this negative stuff about the company and all this other stuff. I was like, she never came to talk to me or nothing. Like, she just went off the handle on social. And it's like, the funny thing was, is like, if she would have just came and talked to me, I would have been like, hey, here's the money that you're asking for the artwork. It's on me for not like spelling out exactly how this transaction works, whatever. This is how we're going to do it in the future. But like, here's the money for the invoices, whatever. Like, we're cool. We're good. Like, everything's whatever. But because of the fact that she went off the handle without talking to me and like went publicly saying, fuck this guy and all this other stuff, that's where I called Andy and I was like, hey, what would you do in this situation?
Oh, dude. Yeah, she's gone. Yeah.
And Andy was like, I love your response. Yeah. So basically that's how I felt. I was like, dude, like, this is childish stuff. Like, come talk to me. Like, I would have just like worked it out. And Andy said the same thing. He's like, I think what you need to do is let her go, which is what we were going to do. But Andy's take that I think helped me out was, he was like, you should still pay her for those invoices. Like, let her go, say, hey, we're sorry. Like, it's just not going to work out here. You're not a fit for this company. But also, like, as like me keeping up my end of the bargain, I paid her for the artwork.
Yeah.
So I said, hey, come in on Friday, pick up your paycheck, and I'll have the paid invoices in with it as well. So that's what we did.
Did she push back or try to argue with you, or
She
was
didn't say anything.
Just like pieced out?
Yeah, I told Sarah. Well, Sarah called her and like said, "Hey, you know, we're gonna let you go and we're gonna pay you this, whatever." Like, I didn't even have to do it, which was wonderful. And she just said, "Okay." That was it. That was literally the whole thing. And she came in on Friday, picked it up, and left. So
that's just fucking weird. Like, was she an airhead and just like did not understand the concept of like you do this outside of work?
To me, it makes perfect sense. It's like you're getting paid at the job. I was like, if you hire a graphic designer like Andy does, it's not like he's charging the customer $200 for artwork and then giving it to the guy he pays X amount of dollars an hour to. Like, that's not how this works. Like, you're here at work getting paid per hour to do the job.
It's just kind of like double dipping.
Right. It was a total double dip. And that's why I said, like, I was like, I'm willing to let you double dip, but just do it at home. Yeah. Like, don't do the artwork here, do it at home. And then you can make a bunch of extra money doing freelance artwork. Like, think about how perfect that is for her to do at home, because it's not like she has to go get her own clients. Like, Upstate is feeding her work, basically. It's like, hey, day-to-day shit of people wanting wrenches crossed and it says Joe's Plumbing on it. You can knock that out at home and make $50.
Yeah.
Like, I don't give a shit. I just want the print work. Like, I don't care about the artwork part of it, especially the small scale stuff like that. I was like, you fucking do it at home. That's cool. And it just didn't work out that way. So yeah, the whole, I didn't really even have to do a warning or anything with that. It was like, as soon as I saw that you went on the internet and just started bashing this place, I was like, no. How do you come back from that? What do you expect?
If that's your first like reaction or thought after just like a miscommunication of sorts, like you're definitely not cut out to be in this environment.
I was just like, nope.
That is wild.
Not doing that.
Sterling?
I don't know. Yes.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Like
your personal life.
Yeah, like what are your hobbies and
your story.
Post baby.
I want to hear your story again. How you got started and where you are now and why? Because you kind of have like a niche market for sure. So
yeah, we're definitely in like a unique spot with like the unique look of the stuff we do and whatnot. So it started. I'd always done graphic design when I was a kid and just screwed around and the deviant art days and all that kind of fun stuff. But then I ended up going to college, joining the fraternity. We were getting raked over the coals on pricing for shirts via Graphic Cow out of South Carolina, like Clemson, I think is where they are, or somewhere close there. Anyway, we're getting charged like $20 for like a pocket tee. And that was back when Comfort Color pocket tees were like $350, $375, like super cheap. So I was like, well, hell, I can do graphic design. Like I can do everything that they're providing us and do it way cheaper. So that's how I kind of got into the t-shirt game.
So you were just doing it for your fraternity?
Yeah. And I had started like a small little brand out of my apartment just for shits and giggles, just to see if I could make something work. But I actually ended up hooking up with King Screen back when they were still in Atlanta. Back when Scott and I forget his other partner that he had when he was down here. So I would send them artwork and have them print it, like order the shirts for me and everything. And I think we saved like $7 or $8 per shirt. And I would sell them I created like a big cartel site just for the organization. Like we'd put stuff up there, run it for a week, 2 weeks, whatever. I'd submit the order. And I think I upcharged like maybe 25, 50 cents a shirt, literally just to cover the gas to drive down to the middle of Hood, Atlanta and come back. And that's kind of how it got started. And then I ended up finding a manual set up on Craigslist, kind of close to the same area where King Screen was. And the brand that I started dicking around with kind of took off, and we were in a couple retailers. I'm like, man, I should really just learn how to do this. So I bought it, and I was still living in the college town that I was. I'm like, well, I can't really throw this up in the garage that's here because it's got beer pong tables and ping pong tables and
That's
12
way more
bags of
important.
trash. And it just wasn't going to work there. So I called my parents. I'm like, hey, we got a big ass garage up there that y'all aren't using half of. I was like, can I put the stuff in there? And they're like, I guess, like, as long as it's not in the way. And it was in the way. I made sure it was in the way. And I kind of taught myself the basics over like that Thanksgiving to like New Year break that you kind of have where you only go back for finals for like 3 days. And sort of started teaching myself how to print like that. Well, it ended up lucking out because that following semester, I wasn't able to get classes that I needed for my major for something. Like, it was one of those, they only offer like once every calendar year, and there's only one of the classes. And so if you don't have early registration, you're screwed. And so I think out of the 4 classes I needed, 3 of them were like that. And so I wasn't about to pay $5,000 to take 1 3-hour class and still live in a, outside of Atlanta where it's expensive as hell just to exist. So I moved back home and took a semester off and started really printing a little bit more for the brand and getting it into some of the smaller boutique stores around town and in the surrounding areas. But then I also started posting stuff on Instagram about more of the Greek work, like the fraternity sorority stuff.
Right.
And that's where it really started picking up. And so I kind of grew with that big time, especially just within, there's like 40 or 50 colleges within an hour or 2 hours of Dalton. And they're usually smaller ones. I mean, some of the big ones around too, but they're the small, like, 5,000, 6,000 kid colleges. And so I would just hit them up on Instagram or Twitter or whatever. I'm like, hey, I can do your shirts for like $5 or $6 cheaper. I can set you up a store. I can upcharge a little bit more. So y'all are even making $1 or $2 on it, and I can cut you a check or, send it to you, PayPal, whatever. And y'all can donate that to your philanthropy, your housing fund, like your party fund, whatever. And so the kids were like, oh, hell yeah. Because like it cut out way less work for them. Like they just had to tell me what they wanted, and I'd do all the artwork. I'd take care of all the ordering. Just all they had to do was just buy the shirts.
Right.
And it started really picking up with that. And then, so that was early 2013. And then I had all that early semester, all summer off. And then I was like, well, I should, go back to school and finish my degree. So I just went to the local college, Dalton State here in town, and, just picked up where I left off because I was actually able to get classes, and was still going to school full time, but also still printing full time. So, I mean, I would get up at...
And you were doing all this printing stuff by yourself?
Yeah. Still out of my parents' garage. And I mean, I'd get up at 6 and I'd go to class. I'd come home. I'd work till 11 or 12, get in the bed and just do it all day after day after day.
Did you feel like at that time that, and this is kind of where I was at, is like, did you feel like, why am I bothering with school? Because what I'm doing at home seems to be working out?
Not at that point, not just yet, but it got there very quickly because in December of 2013, I was playing flag football, intramurals. It was cold. It was 2 days before our finals started, and I ended up breaking my leg and just completely dislocating my ankle. So I had a lot of couch time over that Christmas break, and I started whipping up some artwork I was kind of just screwing around while high on pain meds and propped up on the couch. And that's how I ended up getting in with the Old Row, because that was when they had just started. They were maybe like a year old at that point, and I literally just Snapchatted them a picture of this like retro 90s looking design that I whipped up, and they loved it. And I was like, well, I mean, I can sell them and ship them out. And we started, like, that took off like wildfire. And that was when Tilt was still around. So we were able to do like those crowdfunding campaign style things. Mm-hmm. And the more designs that we did, like they went from like 4 dozen to 6 to now it's 150 to 200, then 400 and 500 piece. Like every single design that we dropped, like they just kept multiplying. And I was like, holy shit! Like I'm doing pretty good here.
Right.
And I was still doing it all by myself, like all manual printing. I'd print them all, then I'd have to print off all the shipping labels. I'd individually fold them, bag them, tag them, ship them out, drop them off at the post office. And I did that for probably, I want to say it was about 8 months. And then that's when I finally went to ISS in Nashville back when they still had it. And I was like, I've got to, like, if I'm going to keep doing this, like, I've got to get an automatic. And once I signed the papers for that, I'm like, yep, I'm not going back to school.
Were you still focused just as hard on like the fraternity stuff, or were you focused more on trying to build Old Row?
It was still pretty heavy on the Greek stuff. And it stayed that way realistically up until probably a couple of years ago. Like when once we moved into the shop we're in now, I kind of like phased myself out of it. But then again, like I wasn't really as involved in that college age demographic anymore.
Right.
But a lot of the customers that I did deal with had then gone on to get jobs somewhere else. So like they were coming back, but for different things now.
Yeah. I feel like that's a weird, I feel like when you're in that market, like if you're in school, like you could get a ton of orders from other, fraternities, sororities, whatever, and all the school stuff, and you're involved. And then as soon as you get out of it, I feel like you kind of lose touch with like whatever. That's why I feel like Steven's model works so good, is because he uses students.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, then that just grows because they're in it. They know all the events, they know what's going on, all this other stuff, and they can be involved. I used to do, it was like this company called 189.7 or whatever that just did like the fraternity gear for whatever one it was. I don't remember what it was called. But the same thing, like they constantly were pumping out orders because they were doing all the different branches and all this thing for it. And then as soon as both of them graduated, like it just went, it fizzled out because they weren't there. They weren't involved. They didn't know all the things anymore. They kind of aged out of it. So it kind of only makes sense.
Yeah. And but the biggest thing with that, where I kind of got away with it got away from it, is the customer base. Like once you start getting older, dealing with shithead 18-year-old kids I'd rather just put my head through a window. Like it is maddening having to deal with them, and just like, and it's like just that generation of kids now, like they're just super demanding. It's like the Amazon effect. Like they got to have it now. Like they need it now. It's all disorganized. Like they have no clue. It's just a mess. And then the licensing portion was probably the worst.
Yeah.
Like trying to keep up with the royalties and all that, like that in itself, like you almost have to hire somebody full time just to comply with that. And then the way that they change the rates and set minimums, like you're still going to have to pay so much per year, even if you don't sell like $5,000 worth of stuff. Like you're still locked into, however much the royalty rate for that would be.
Right.
But it wasn't a flat rate for every organization. Like it's different for every single organization.
So how did you, when you got to the point where you didn't want to deal with them, how did you pivot? Did you have something already coming in that kind of replaced them? Or did you just drop off a certain percentage of your business and were just like, fuck this, I'm not doing this anymore?
I kind of weaned myself off. Like some of the organizations that were a little easier to deal with, I still would do some stuff here and there. But the Old Row stuff just blew up like crazy. So, that was bringing in way more work and volume than what I would be losing. And then once we were at the old shop, I had 2 automatics, so we were able to take on some contract work and even do some stuff for other shops around us that didn't have the color capability or honestly this print skill to do some of the more detailed work. So we could just kind of grew and grew and grew and grew. And it's still going to today. Like, I don't know that I want to get any bigger than what we are now as far as like equipment goes and building size, because moving is just it's awful. It is the worst.
Well, you don't have to move or grow. All you got to do is put 4 people on each press We've figured this out already.
We've got the capability to do some serious output. So, I mean, I guess now for us, it's probably just expanding our customer base a little bit more, because we really don't even do much local. It's all just kind of outside stuff. And then working with a couple of marketing agencies and whatnot that are sending us contract work, and other shops are sending us, some contract work that they don't really want to fool with because they don't know how to print 10 colors or don't have the capability of it. And it's only like a 1 day ship from them. So, I mean, it's a lot cheaper for them to shop the stuff out to me than it would be for them to buy a new press or buy a new building to fit a new press or whatever. But then, I mean, we also kill it. Like embroidery's been taking off big time this year. I don't know what it is about that, but like this year, it's like really seen an uptick.
Didn't you say that too, Andy? That embroidery's been going pretty hard?
Yeah, but we do every year at this time. Like this is a Christmas thing. We're really backed up.
Yeah. It's like Matt at Relentless is like that. I feel like he just is constantly growing embroidery. Like I know he told me like he loves embroidery though. So like I feel like they've just been adding and adding and adding.
Yeah, we've only got a 6 head, and like we're still chewing through work. I think the main reason for us is that stock is finally coming back in for some of the more popular styles, and like some of the polos that we were doing, and the Richardson hats and whatnot, because nobody wants anything other than a Richardson now.
It's funny. I've always associated you as being like the comfort colors guy.
Oh yeah. That's still like 95% of what we print.
Yeah.
And so
well, it's funny when I got on the Gildan board, I reached out to you and I was like, hey, like
I never got back to you.
I was like, hey, I'm about to go in a meeting about, ups and downs of certain styles and brands or whatever. I was like, do you have anything on comfort colors that like you want me to say? Because I will say it. A lot of it was talked about. I mean, we talked about certain things, like Steven brought up some good stuff about the pockets, just being a little bit smaller. And then we were talking about the big thing was the tags, the comfort color tags.
Mm-hmm.
Now with Old Row and all that stuff, are you leaving comfort color tags in, or are you cutting those out and relabeling?
No. So we're using on anything comfort colors, like that tag stays in there. Cause at this point, the customer base like almost demands it.
See,
was the thing. That was the thing we were talking about with them, and they were like, "We don't want to get rid of it because it's so many people just want to see it in there."
It adds value to the shirt, even though they know it's a different brand that they're buying. They like that comfort color.
So, what are you doing? Are you relabeling underneath and then just leaving comfort colors on top, or you're just not relabeling?
Just not relabeling it at all. We use another brand. Soft shirts. Have you heard about them or played around with them? So they're a brand made by the guy that used to be the CEO of Graphic Cow and the former founder of a brand called Southern Tide that got bought out by L Brands, who owns like Lily Pulitzer, Tommy Bahama, and all that. So buku of money. They created this whole new brand they're really nice. It's a competitor for comfort colors now, because they still have the super soft enzyme wash, the vintage look, but you can discharge them, and water-based plays really well with them, but they also have a removable tag. So some of the styles and some of the designs that we do for them will go on soft shirt stuff, and they will pad print them with their logo in it. So we do that, or we'll do, like I said, leave the comfort colors tag in there. Because I've tried every way to relabel them, pull them out, restitch them, and it just never works. It just always looks like shit. You rip out the seams on the back of the neck. I just don't. I gave up probably about a year into it. I'm trying to.
Yeah, we were just talking to Josh last episode about that, and he said that basically if he has a customer who wants comfort colors, he has a seamstress like literally take the stitches out, take the tag out, and re-sews the seam for each one of those shirts to get them.
Hell no. Unless they want to pay for the time and the premium of it, there's no way.
He had a great setup though, because I want to say she was really good, and she wasn't expensive
either. It was like 75, 80 cents or something.
Yeah, it was really reasonable.
It's not too bad.
Well, before we get to questions for us,
we got stuff to get to, but you wanted to talk about your cards or the
Me?
special thing that you teased everybody. You have to say it now.
Yeah, I got the big reveal. Okay.
Is it a Christmas card?
No,
I fucking
no,
hope
no.
so. That'd be wonderful.
Hey, you ready for this?
Oh,
So it is a
What is that?
yellow. It is a
Sorry,
yellow
everybody,
binder.
that you're getting let down right now.
Hey, this is a cover your ass situation. And it is a yellow binder. I bought this from Uline because it comes with this chain where there's nothing in it yet. I just got it today. So there's a chain, a basket it goes in. Check this out.
Oh, so you can hang it on the wall.
Yeah, check this out. Goes in there. And it has this sign. Hold on.
Dang, you went all out.
shit.
Is this one of those where you can put like
And-
days without incident?
No, but maybe. But so all this is to be compliant with state of Missouri, and every state has their different compliances,
Yeah.
but very, very similar.
Did somebody
We-
poke you for this, or is this
No.
all you? You just wanted to do it?
I saw somebody got fined.
Oh, in the group
And-
chat we were talking about?
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to cover my ass. And so did you know that you need a SDS sheet, or that's what it is, a safety data sheet or data sheet on every single chemical you have in your shop? And that requirement is, and I'll just read through them really quickly, is you have to, that SDS sheet or SDS paper, I guess, it's going to go in this binder, is going to be identify the substance. It's going to have whether it's hazardous or not, its composition, its first aid measures, its firefighting measures, accidental release measures, handling and storage, exposure controls, physical and chemical properties, stability, reactivity, toxicological information, ecological information,
Just start making words up.
disposable considerations, just a couple more, transport information, regulatory information, and then other information. And so all you got to do, this is what we did, is we went to Easy Way, like, because we use, let's say we are going to do it for 701,
Most
right?
of your chemicals, yeah.
easyway.com. It's right on their website. Print it out. Put it in the plastic, the sheets, the cover sheets. Stick it in this binder. Chain the binder to the thing so that it doesn't walk off. And it's it's access. So anybody from the
Is that
team
it?
here-
You don't have to do anything else. You don't have to like have a meeting about it. You don't have to like give them packets. You can just hang that.
That's a
on the
good
wall, call it
question.
good.
That's a really good
That's a
question.
good question.
But it is because we'll put everything in here, and then we're going to hang it,
I hope
on the wall.
you have a round table meeting and have to read the entire thing.
You have to memorize. There'll be a test after this, and then it's a pop quiz. So I think that, and so Alex, who's a designer here, he loves like projects like this, and so he already has every single SDS printed out. Or sorry, he has it in a file, and we're going to print them all out. We got this binder; it's going in the binder, and by the end of today, we should be set so that if you come in here, we meet that requirement.
Right. But the
'cause-
thing is in that text we were talking about was just like, we won't name any names, but somebody got visited by an OSHA person
and fined.
and fined a shitload. And they listed all the things that they got fined for.
Mhm.
Was that just one of the things? Because if they came in here, I don't know. Like I don't.
Well, here I
half
don't
the shit
want
they're
to.
probably supposed to have.
I'm locking the
Right.
doors if somebody like that shows up.
You're right. Because, so yeah, that's just one of the things. Like another one is you have to have an eye wash station. And so
Definitely not.
you definitely do. And then you know what?
No, I know. I'm
No,
just saying I definitely don't have one.
Check this out. So your eye wash station has to run for 15 minutes. Like that's the law. Like so I bought one. It's here and we're installing it also today. And so it has a
Dude,
this
you
thing
went all out on
this thing that like it's a lid and it comes down and it's gravity fed tank and it has to run for 15 minutes because you're supposed to be able to wash out your eyes open them up and wash them off for 15 minutes. I mean, yeah. Oh, and also like the tricky thing about that is that it has to be within a 10-second walk or 55-foot walk of where you store those chemicals.
What on earth?
I know, right?
Chemicals all over the shop.
Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. Like maybe you shouldn't.
So Uline made a bunch of money off of you, is what you're saying.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
You just went to their like safety area and just were like, I'll take this, I'll take this, I'll take this.
Or
I mean, I'm proud of you. I'm not knocking it.
Hold on.
Like, it's awesome.
You can look at it.
Just,
you can look at it like Uline saved me a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Fair.
Other than their shipping costs.
Well, I mean,
dude, their shipping's ridiculous.
Right.
Well, I'm closer. They're where are they? Wisconsin or something like that. So it's just 1 day ship and it's not that much. But I would say that they're going to, you know, like if somebody comes in here, maybe we're not fully compliant, you know, because
right, but they're going to see that you tried.
Yeah, they're going to
fucking
give me
eye wash machine. That's more than 99.9% of other shops.
I'm going to get a few points for effort there. Yeah. So maybe a little less.
Like you.
So yeah, cool. I didn't want to talk about the eye wash one because I'm not fully set with that, but I could share it next time once we have it installed and everything. But this one is, I think, way easier. Like if you're going to do this and you're going to chip away or whatever at your compliance, this is pretty easy because all the time, like whenever we get, I don't know about you guys, when I get some emulsion and then they send me the SDS sheets, I shred it or I throw it away. Like I don't even like, what the fuck is this? I don't want it. But actually you need it, and you need it hanging in this binder, readily available to anybody. And it might even do you some good, you know, instead of an OSHA person coming in or whatever.
Well, what if you just got like a gallon jug of like old, like, you know, an old milk container, and you just filled it with water and poked a bunch of holes in the top and wrote eye wash on the front of it?
Yeah, that'll work. You should do that. Yeah.
I was under the impression you just turn the pressure washer off and, you know.
Right. Directly into your eyeballs. Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. So,
but I was gonna say NASDAR, every time I order any kind of chemical, they always follow up with a email PDF of the SDS.
What do you do with it?
I look at it, I go, oh yeah. Yeah, I just mark it as red.
Right.
Yeah. I actually think that regardless of laws and rules or whatever, like that is a good idea to have that binder, just because if something does happen, and an eye wash isn't a terrible idea too, because we've had certain things here where, you know, something might splash up or whatever, and it's kind of like, it's probably not a bad idea.
Like a spot gun, you know, you're spraying out a
just
shirt.
Like something stupid like that. Or
have you ever gotten that in your eye? Because I have.
Yeah, I mean, I probably have gallons of acetone that have soaked through my skin.
So it keeps you looking so good.
And that's the funny thing. I didn't think it was really worthy of bringing up, but you brought up a binder of SDS sheets, so I might as well. Is I kind of want to buy like what you have for the spot gun, like the actual station with the vacuum thing. I know Scott showed us his like sweet PVC pipe one, but something came up the other day where somebody here had printed like an underbase incorrectly on a pocket tee. And I was like, this is a huge pain in the ass to try to blow out because you got to get in the pocket. So if you try to just put a cup underneath, it's just going to blow all the ink into the pocket. Then you got to like scoop fucking crumbs out of the pocket. So yours is like, it's angled to where you could just slide the pocket over it.
It's like a sleeve pallet almost.
Right. That's what I'm like, fuck, I kind of want one of those now because I'm never going to have to do this ever again.
Well, what's so great about it is it has that you talked about. It has that sleeve pallet looking thing and a metal mesh.
Right. And it's a vacuum.
Bottom. And you turn it on, it vacuums, and not only does it vacuum, there's a PVC pipe that you shoot it right out your overhead door wherever you want to, so it gets out of your shop, right? And why that's so good is I don't know, like it instantly, or not instantly, it dries the shirt way faster.
It doesn't stain as much.
You don't get that ring. And also, if you're blasting out, let's say it's a white tee and you're blasting out some red ink or something, your chances are it's not going to completely come out, but you have way better chance if you're using this because it sucks that ink, that
keep telling me about
pigment.
how it sucks and blasts.
It does. It sucks so good. So I mean, and the other thing that's really cool is it has an
extra hand on the bottom.
It has
caresses.
Dylan. It has a
The Tank
has-
Tickler 2000.
Right,
has a-
exactly. Thanks.
yeah, we have a camera sort of set up, at the blowout station just for, customers to watch. It's
For you.
pretty interesting. OnlyFans. No, but but for real, it has a wire that you clip the spot gun to.
So you don't drop it.
Yeah, so it can't fall, which is another
So-
really.
I need to find out where to buy one, a good one.
Yeah, I think. Where did I get
Doesn't
it? I don't know,
Techmar?
but
I think that's what I found online.
I want to say Martin's Albatross or something.
I think
Oh,
it was
yeah,
like
yeah.
I think it was like $1,600 or something.
Mhm.
Damn.
So
Mhm.
I just use the shop vac and
Mhm.
turn the sucker on and let it eat.
yeah, I just really like the idea of the like sleeve pallet kind of thing where I could get
Mhm.
hard to reach spots and like Scott had the PVC and all this other stuff and he like put wire mesh in. Like his is totally great and fine. I'm just saying like his you wouldn't be able to put the pocket on.
Yeah, I wanted to make it so I think you can DIY it pretty good and get pretty close, but I wanted it to be a pro setup so that
Right.
anybody could go over there and spray out.
Right. That's where I'm at right now is I would rather
mhm.
just like buy a thing,
Mhm.
push the table over, set it, plug it in. And I'm like, hey, this is where you do this now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So agreed. Okay.
I just don't even try blowing stuff out for the most part since it's all that pigment dyed shit to begin with.
Yeah, your comfort colors, it's good luck,
Yeah, but you get a 50-50 shot with the comfort
Mhm.
colors because you can look at the tag and see if you can blow it out or not.
That's right. The
Mm.
tag is
Sometimes. So they started putting the white tag in colors that do not blow out. So that you can get bamboozled real quick. Because that was the best way to tell, like if you could even discharge them, was if they had that white tag or like the off color.
Right.
But now that's not even the case for whatever reason.
Hmm.
I don't know why they're doing that, but
Yeah. That's how they get you. Questions for us? Or any shop hacks?
What is
Your favorite color?
besides the SDS basket hanging, like, are there any projects you're going to be doing in like the downtime over the holiday break if y'all get a break? Because that's kind of like usually when I'll do some more like in-depth installs or just
Yeah.
cleanings and stuff like that.
I was literally just thinking about that this morning because we were talking in the group chat about pay for holidays and stuff. And I was like, last year I just shut that whole week down and like me and my dad knocked out like a ton of projects here, like repainted the walls and putting new lighting and all this other stuff. And now I'm like, I don't know what I would do. Like, I think I might just come in and like finally like hang up prints in my office and like clean my office. But other than that, like, I don't know what to do. Andy, you're not even going to be around probably.
Yeah, we are. Like I said in that chat, we're observing Christmas on that Monday, the 26th. So that's paid holiday off. We're observing New Year's Day on Friday, the 30th. So that's paid holiday off. And then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, bonus, year-end bonus. We're closed, paid days. So we're closed the whole week.
That's probably what we're going to do too.
Mm.
Yeah, same.
I mean, we're slow through that time anyway. So we'll let it build up a little, come back January 2nd and get at it again,
Go back to it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You want to do some quick takes?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm first.
You are?
Sterling? Yeah, I am.
Wait. How's it work?
Staycation or vacation?
Vacation. I got to get out of the house and get out of the shop because if I'm staying in town, I'm probably going to ending up at the shop every single day at some point.
Mm-hmm. Where do you go though?
In the winter, big fan of snowboarding. So any out west, North Carolina, like wherever I can get to. In the summer, like it's either the beach or the lake. So I'm very easy to please.
Just somewhere chill.
Yeah.
Is there any good movies or shows or books that you're into right now?
Oh man. Of course, I'm a big fan of Yellowstone. I think almost everybody in the country is. But outside of that, I can't even tell you the last show that we started watching was the Santa Claus, or the Santa Clauses, or whatever it is that came
The
out
new
on
one that
Disney
just
Plus.
came out. Yeah.
Huge fan of that movie when it came out when I was a kid, and like when I saw that show was coming out, I'm like, oh hell yeah!
We were just having a discussion about it because they just watched the first one. Like their new kick now on lunch is in the break room is to watch like a movie or like, you know, like a chunk of it each lunch break or whatever. And they just did the Santa Claus, and Zach was like so pissed off about Bernard because Bernard is like a dick to Santa when he first shows up or whatever. And then I think I was like out getting my own food or something. I came back and they were talking about it, and Brian looked at me. He's like, Dylan's probably favorite, most relatable character in this movie is Bernard. And I was like, yeah, Bernard's just trying to get shit done. And all you guys want to do is fuck around and not do what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, Bernard's the man. Andy?
Okay, so say you are going to travel and go work at another shop for 1 week. What do you bring with you? What's one item you bring?
Liquor.
He was ready with that. He knew the answer already.
I don't know. Is it going to be somewhere hot, somewhere cold?
That's a good answer. That's your answer. I like it. What kind of liquor?
Bourbon.
Just brings a bottle of bourbon to a shop because he knows he's fucked.
I have one under my desk right now.
He's like, I've been sipping it this entire time. I have a little straw up through my shirt.
Get one of the helmets with like the straws coming in.
What is something random that brings you joy?
Ooh, cooking videos.
Yeah, me too, honestly.
I love cooking, and I love.
What's one of your favorite cooking shows?
I watch most of it on YouTube. So Sam the Cooking Guy is a good one.
Do you watch Bon
Binging with
Appetit at all?
Babish. Yeah, I watch some of them.
I like Brad.
What's the other one?
Do you ever watch the Triple D?
Oh hell yeah!
Diners,
Usually
Drive-Ins,
like
and
2
Dives.
a.m. It makes me hungry as hell, and then I end up whipping up.
I really like.
meal.
I really love that one too. I mean, sometimes he's a little cringe, but whatever. I like him, and I think that, he does well. Like when he goes to a town and he showcases a restaurant that restaurant just like blows up.
For sure.
Like everybody goes.
Did you ever hear the backstory on him and like how why he dresses the way he dresses and his outfits and all this other stuff? Because when he first did whatever show it was that he first did, wardrobe had like some options for him, and pretty much all they had for some reason was like a bowling shirt. And he ended up wearing the bowling shirt on the episode, and then that became like a thing that took off of like Guy Fieri's like look is this like bowling shirt with like flames and like all this
and
other
it fits
shit.
his Camaro though too,
Right? But like
the
he's not like
vintage-
that in real life. Like he doesn't like to fucking be that way. But now he has this persona that it's like the spiky blonde hair and the bowling shirt and the fucking chains and all this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like he's stuck with it now forever because that's his look.
They ship his car all over the place with him, and like he doesn't actually drive it except for like the little excerpt you see like at the end of the show or the very beginning of the show. But it literally like it gets drug around the entire country with him,
Like on a trailer.
Yeah.
Well, it's like a expensive, classic antique car or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So gotta take care of it.
Uh,
That was it, right? Oh, no, my turn.
No.
What's for dinner? Yeah, like what's for dinner?
Tonight.
for lunch.
Well, I've got some buffalo chicken pizza in our little break area waiting on me. But I don't know, maybe just pick something up on the way home, depending
It's
on how
Friday
I feel on the way
night.
there.
It is Friday night.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Pizza and wings sounds good.
oh yeah, I'll have pizza today and then wings for dinner.
Split it up.
Yeah.
Andy, what are you doing? I gotta go
I
get
don't
lunch.
know.
I'm starving right now.
Yeah, it is Friday night and we don't have plans. So
Oh, I never do. Friday's Friday's the day that there are no plans. Like once I get home, my ass is not getting up off the couch until I go get in bed.
roll right from the couch to the bed.
Or if sometimes I just fall asleep on the couch and just wake up and it's 7 o'clock in the morning.
That's nice. Well, thanks, Sterling, for getting on with us. We appreciate it, man, especially in the middle of a day on a Friday. Love what you're doing, and keep us posted on all your happenings.
Oh, yeah. I'll keep chumming it up in the old Discord.
Hell yeah. Thanks, dude. Have a good day.
All right. Thanks, y'all too.
Later, man.
See you, man.